Anybody coughing or anything? Freeze?
I'm feeling like shit, but I'm not coughing excessively right now because the crack AIDS has kind of like run its course.
The crack AIDS has run its course. All right.
Well, Freeze, look at it this way. Let's hope your face doesn't match your feelings.
Ouch! God damn, Danny, you're pissed today. Damn.
On this episode of the John1911 Podcast, Ohio declares FFLs essential. The Democrats play politics. The Monkeys Riot, and Madonna is turning Japanese.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. This is Danny, Marky, and Freeze, and this is episode 167 of the John1911 Podcast. I guess it's now official. We are all three in lockdown states, according to the news.
Yeah, apparently.
Yes, we are.
So Danny, the state of Ohio, my understanding is, has exempted FFLs and gun stores from being. It basically has exempted them, saying they are necessary, or what do they call critical businesses. Are the gun stores open in Illinois?
They were as of yesterday, but pretty much they shouldn't be because there's been such a run on everything. It's absolutely ridiculous. Many gun stores that I know of personally are out of ammo, and they have sold in the last week what they have sold in 2 months.
Our FFL, or the one that I normally deal with. He's been so busy I haven't even been able to talk to him. I don't know if he's working or not. So I don't know whose device is chirping like that, but you got to turn that shit off.
No,
it's not me.
It sounds like an Android. It sounds, I don't know what.
I don't have an Android, so you know it's not me.
Okay.
It's not me. I'm on mute.
It's some kind of chirp I haven't heard before. So we'll if it comes up again.
It's probably your damn phone.
Not me. No, not me. I don't have online gambling on my phone that makes those kinds of noises, children. So,
well, I don't have online gambling, but that's probably my online whore app.
Okay. You know what? All right. Well, Freeze just kicked open the door and ran through it. So I'm going to go ahead and do it because everybody's all down and upset and see if I can find the name of this girl. So, I've been checking. For those that don't monitor our social media, I have been sick. First, Freeze was sick. Now I've been sick.
Yeah.
There's a good chance that I have COVID-19, but they can't test me because I'm not critical and I'm through it, and they don't have enough tests. So they want to save the testing for people who are critical, so they can deal with it appropriately. However, there was a news story. Okay, I just heard the ding again. By the way,
that's not me.
Okay. Danny, is there another device in the room with you?
Yeah, hang on. Yes, it's off now. It was a medical alert. It's off now.
Okay, so all right,
we found it. Sorry, I'm at fault. I'll take the blame.
Okay, so I'm reading the news, and so anyway, we got COVID-19. Everybody's sick, whatever. So everything's been crashing, and they've been shutting everything down. So I see a news story. I'm trying to get better, and I see a news story about different industries that are being hurt by the coronavirus. Like, well, yeah, obviously. But then there was one I didn't expect to see this, and it was Instagram models. Apparently, the Instagram models are hurting, and I want to find this girl. So I guess the Instagram models are having a couple problems. The first one is some companies are like, hey, this may not be the right time to push the booty shorts because we don't know how it'll look. So, which is cool. And then there's some other companies are telling these people that we can't do any campaigns right now because a lot of our shit comes from China and we're not going to be able to fulfill orders, which is fine. And so these girls are complaining because they do this at home. A lot of Instagram models, it's really full production. They've got camera crews, photographers, makeup artists, set designers, set designers, yada yada yada, the full thing. So, they're kind of hurting to they still got to keep their page running. So this one girl, her name is, I've never heard of this girl. Her name is Abigail Ratchford. Okay. So she's the queen of curves. I'm looking at her Instagram page here, and she has 9 million followers.
God damn, and, a lot of followers.
I know, it's like, God damn, that's an important point. Pay attention to that. And apparently she's been doing this a long time. Like because I was reading the article, and I guess she dated an NFL quarterback. I don't really know who he was. It wasn't, so like this person exists. Apparently everybody knows who she is, but maybe you, me, and Danny.
But me, yeah. I mean, I have no clue who she is, but whatever.
And, looking at her pictures, she's a pretty girl. She's kind of I'd call a va-va-voom kind of girl, kind of a busty bikini kind of girl.
Okay.
Half-naked lingerie girl, not really like a fitness girl or a fashion girl. But, she's got all this stuff. So she's so desperate to try to keep content flowing. She's putting out promo pictures of herself with her sister.
And is her sister naked with her?
Her sister is so butt ugly. You can't help. I'm trying to find her sister.
Wow. Okay.
You look at these two together. You're like, this can't be from the same fucking family. But then you look at them. And you're like, wait a minute. They have the same nose. They have the same eyebrows. They have the same, but it's all scrambled. And it's like, I'm trying to find, let me see if I can find this girl's, what this, hold on. Abigail Pritchford. So, wow, somebody fill some airtime while I look for this girl.
Wow. Okay. So basically, she's got a butt ugly sister that Pornhub wouldn't even pay her money for.
Here we go. Isabel. Hold on. I hate to do this. So her sister's name is Isabel Ratchford. Okay. And I'll put, and so the main girl, she has 9 million followers, right?
Okay.
And it's like, yeah, it's cool. Hey, I guess that's a lot. I mean, sure, it's a hell of a lot more than we.
Well, it's a lot more than we've got. Yeah, shit, yeah.
Yeah. And it's, half naked, all this, she apparently makes $500,000 a year minimum.
That's more money. That's more money than we make.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And she probably makes more than that, but $500,000.
Yeah. Okay.
Her sister has 18,000 followers.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I'm
okay.
I'm like, apparently I'm not the only one that was like, holy shit.
Well, Marky, you're taking this out of context. You have to remember, it's not the face you're screwing; it's the screw you're facing.
Oh. Wow, Danny, man, you are on fire fucking today, dude.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus. Wow.
It's getting tense in the COVID-19 lockdown.
Damn. I mean, like we need to get like Danny out of the house because he's like on fire.
Well, it'd be nice, but last night it snowed asshole deep to a giraffe here. So it's
Did it really?
We had about 8 inches.
Wow.
Holy shit, really?
Yes, wet, heavy stuff. It's all
I mean, we had some sleety rain around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, but that was about it.
What were you doing up? I thought you're on a different shift.
Oh, no, hell no. No, I mean, because, we're on limited hours with everyone because of the lockdown and shit, but I still have to be there because, you have to have a fucking bonded person there in charge because otherwise, well, I'm not going to get into it, but, it is what it is.
Freeze had told me that he expected to get pushed to days. And then they ended up not doing it. So he's still working nights the whole time.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're not open to the public per se, but, that just means I have like twice the amount of work I normally have to do because I can't blame it on being busy. Yeah. Hey, you're a Union State employee. You know how it is.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You lie and I'll swear to it. I've been working my ass off.
Exactly. It's like,
man, that came out so good, and so, like he said, that shit before.
Yes,
that wasn't like, oh, let me try this on.
I'm on a roll today. I don't know why.
Hey, it is what it is, man.
So we don't have snow down here right now, but I woke up today and it's wet, which has caused some delays and some other stuff that's going on.
Hey, you want to know what's really fucked up? So
what's that?
I wake up, because I work third shift. So, I roll out of the house at like 9:00 at night. And I'm rolling out of the house and I'm like, man, it looks like the side of my yard. And, Marky, you know how big my yard is. I've got an acre around the house, not counting the woods.
Sure.
And I'm like, wow, it looks like my grass has been cut. And I'm thinking, well, it's been rainy. There's no fucking way. I'm just like, I'm fucking, the crack AIDS is fucking with my mind and all that shit. So I come home this morning and I pull in the driveway and I'm like, wow, the whole one side of my yard has been cut. So I'm talking to my dad this morning and I'm like, did you cut my grass? And he's like, well, yeah, I was cutting grass yesterday. And he's like, so I came over and cut like half your yard before it got too wet. And I'm like, dude, why are you cutting grass right now? It's so fucking wet. He's like, well, I didn't have nothing else to do because he's been like tied up in the fucking house for who knows how long, Yeah. So actually, I got like a quarter of my yard mowed yesterday by the old man because he was bored.
So for the listeners that don't understand, Freeze's father, I guess, great grandpa Freeze, if you're Grandpa Freeze,
yes,
he has a farm. He has farm property, and literally their property touches. So
yeah,
Freeze has a house.
So okay, so to put it in perspective, the property out here has been in the family since like 1935. And it's been divided up over the years between family members, and it's quite a chunk of acreage. And and my parents, of course, own the majority chunk of acreage, and then myself and my brother and whatnot, have chunks. And I decided, 20 or so years ago to build a house on my acreage. So I actually our properties actually touch. And that's that's more private information than I normally like to give out.
He doesn't. So his dad didn't drive over with like a lawnmower on a flatbed.
No. He literally drove next door and.
Yeah.
Yes.
On the lawnmower.
Oh yeah. Actually, on the lawn tractor. Yeah. So yeah. So it's not like he went out of his way and loaded up his lawnmower onto a flatbed and drove it over. No, he literally drove. He cut his yard and then he drove next door and cut like a quarter of my yard.
Well, did you thank him for the act of kindness?
I gave him a bottle of.
You bitched at him because the yard was wet. Oh, jeez.
Hey, he left tracks.
Hey, you ever call the cops? Somebody came over and did a lawn job on you.
Hey, look, trust me. In my neighborhood, I pay more than enough taxes to where if I would have called the cops, they would have opened an investigation.
Yeah.
I call the cops in the middle of the night because a neighbor calls me and says, "Hey, I saw someone walking in your front yard." I call the non-emergency number in my local PD, and they send someone out to look. I'm not bragging or anything, but I live in a nice enough neighborhood to where the local PD takes care of the residents. Opposed to the neighborhood that I work in, where is if someone breaks into your house and you call the local PD, they may or may not show up.
Well, that's true with a lot of cities, bigger metropolitan areas.
But I mean, in my neighborhood, and Marky's as well. I mean, we live. I mean, we don't live in the same neighborhood by it all, but our local.
I'm gonna mute this in about 3 seconds. So.
Nah, you're not. You're fine.
Yeah.
But
anyway, off the net.
Actually,
you can't all three talk at the same time.
Okay,
one at a time.
Did you happen to see what happened in Bogota, Colombia?
No.
23 inmates are dead in the prison called La Modelo because of the coronavirus scare. They are rioting and just killing off each other, trying to escape.
Yes. Really?
Wow. Okay.
Isn't that the prison that Modelo? No, the Modelo prison's the one. That's the one that Kurt Muse was in, I think, in Panama. You sure this isn't not in Panama?
It just said I just read it. It just said La Modelo prison in Bogota.
Wow. Okay.
I have no idea. I have no idea of knowing, Bogota from Boston. I wouldn't know. But it's
well, I mean, Bogota is Colombia. I mean, so.
Well, here's what I want to lead into. Is it feasible with the fear that this could start in the United States prisons riots?
They're already, what's his name? Harvey Weinstein has already gotten a test, and he's saying, you got to let me out of jail. And Tekashi 69 or whatever, the gangbanger that's in jail, is already petitioning the court saying, you got to let me out of jail. It's already started there, dude.
Yeah, well, fuck them. You know what? My thing is, let them sit in jail and let them get the coronavirus and let them all fucking die. What the fuck? Who cares?
Hey, I had the coronavirus and I didn't die.
Exactly. The truth is, very few people are dying from this virus globally. If you look at the numbers of the people that have died globally, it's not that bad of a deal. It's not to the point where we need to start letting criminals out of fucking prison. It's really not.
Well, freeze.
I mean, this is not the 1918 fucking Spanish flu where 50 million people fucking died prior to antibiotics, by the way.
Hold on, let me stop. Hold on, freeze. Let me stop you right there. Did you hear what happened with Wikipedia and the Spanish flu? Wikipedia has gone in and renamed the Spanish flu because it's racist to call it the Spanish flu now.
What the fuck? Really?
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And don't.
Okay.
Tell me that doesn't sound like some Joe Stalin bullshit when they used to erase people out of photographs.
Yes.
Like that guy never existed.
Yes.
Marky, I have you beat. Your chief political correspondent has been doing his homework and working diligently. I have that beat. Are you ready? Did you see where the Senate Democrats voted no for the Senate stimulus bill? And two of the big hang-up reasons why the Democrats voted no for it, this one will curl your hair, is because the Republicans took out the Democrats' demand to reduce airplane emissions and to take out the Democrats wanted tax credits for those that have solar panels into the coronavirus stimulus bill.
Great.
Well, I mean, that's standard pork. I mean, you know, and look, at the end of the day, when the weather starts turning warmer and all the flus go away, and this will go away here within the next month and a half. I mean, it's going to take the same trend as all the fucking flu strains. It will go away. And what's going to happen is all these fucking Democrats that are helping destroy the economy and that are stopping the stimulus and all this crap, they're going to look at the end of the day, they're going to pay the price. And look, this is not going to go on till November. The economy is going to get better once this turns around. Trump's going to come out as a big fucking winner. And again, the Democrats in the House are going to be the big fucking losers. So they can stop the stimulus, because all that's going to do is when you're talking about, we're going to give people money, but, guess what? We're not going to give people money because we're stopping it because we don't like this. That only is going to look bad on them in the long run. Whether you agree or disagree with the entire stimulus program, it's not going to look good on them.
I agree.
Well, let me go ahead and give everybody a lesson from history. And we have actually faced this kind of scenario before. And this was an example of how the media and the narrative, you can do the wrong thing or do something you should get hammered for, but if you can control the narrative and the story, you get away with it. Back in the day, there used to be a senator, and his name was George Mitchell. And George Mitchell was a Democrat. He was from, for some reason, I want to say Georgia, but that's not right. I don't know why it's not Georgia. Somebody Google it. But anyway, he's a senator. I think he was the Senate Majority Leader. And so during the first Bush administration, after the Gulf War, remember, like Bill Clinton won the won the election in 1992. And if everybody remembers, like all of his campaign people, they used to run around with the idea and the slang saying it's the economy, stupid. All these foreign wars and all this stuff. You're not paying attention to the American people, and Bill Clinton feels your pain and all of that. Well, there was a perception that the economy was turning, that we were going to go into a recession. And so the White House was telling, because the White House doesn't actually, people forget this, Donald Trump does not have the authority to spend money. He doesn't have the authority to do that. That all comes from the power of the purse is in Congress. And so the White House, they put the budgets together, and then Congress, assembles it, or they vote on it and make changes and appropriate the money. So the White House wanted Congress to, if I recall, it was some kind of tax cut thing to help the economy or do some stuff. And the Congress, under the leader of George Mitchell, basically intentionally did not do that. And they hurt the economy, and it hurt George Herbert Walker Bush's reelection. And it got Bill Clinton elected, and everybody got to say it's the economy, stupid, because George Herbert Walker Bush did not pay attention to the American people. And at least half of that fault goes to Democrat Senator George Mitchell. And history, they controlled the narrative, they controlled the news cycle, and history has never blamed the Democrats for that.
He was from Maine.
Maine, okay.
So
for some reason, I thought he was a southern.
So what you're saying is they're trying to recreate history, because look, they've been trying for 3.5 years to derail Trump. So you're saying that this is their shot of trying to like hurt Trump's reelection bid.
Well, look, the Democrat. Look, Okay, I want to say two things. The first thing is, the Democrats, it's standard pork. Okay, there's always this argument in Congress: give me a clean bill. Don't stick a bunch of shit on the stuff. Give me a clean bill. But Congress can, you can tack on, amendments or what they call them. But it ends up they call it pork.
Yeah.
So if the roles are reversed and there was a Republican if a Democrat was in office and it was the Republicans who controlled the House and they were putting together a bill and the Republicans tacked on a repeal of the Hughes Amendment because of, stopping the sale of machine guns, because they could say the American people have as many options as they can get, we would be like, yeah, that's great. And the other side would be saying, this is partisan special interest lobbying bullshit in a time of national crisis. So everybody plays this game.
Yeah.
So let's just not pretend that we're all fucking saints.
Did you see what Trump said when he found out that Romney is in self-quarantine?
Well, hold on. Here's the second point, and this is the interesting thing. Donald Trump is not George Herbert Walker Bush. Donald Trump is not George W. Bush. Donald Trump will get on national television. I've already seen emails this morning from the White House putting out the narratives. He was on Twitter, and they're saying the Democrats are playing politics with your futures. They're playing politics with money to keep the economy afloat, to help individual workers and small businesses. Donald Trump is not going to sit back and let somebody just hammer on this stuff and get away with it like George Herbert Walker Bush did.
Yeah.
And so, Donald Trump is not going to let him get away with it. So the Democrats, they can try this, and they'll do it for. I suggest they will pass something today. Especially, I don't know what's going on with the market right now. But like, for example, this morning, so I heard last night that the negotiations had collapsed on the package. And this was before I went to bed last night. The futures market immediately tanked. The futures market last night basically were saying at 9:30 on Monday morning, the stock market's going to be down because, people are betting against it rising because of what happened. Well, McConnell was like, we're going to have a vote at 9:30. Right when the stock market opens, and you're gonna see what happens. And so Schumer, last I heard, Schumer and McConnell were battling, and Schumer was like, "We'll come in at fucking noon and have this vote, and we'll talk about it." So they're gonna, the market will go up or go down, and supposedly people will start screaming and talk about the unemployment rates, and they'll eventually hammer something out. This won't go too far.
But wouldn't you think that McConnell actually is up front on this and wanting to get the money into the hands of the people, be it businesses, be it the individuals or whatever? Come on, the Green New Deal tacked onto it. That's just a bit much, I would think. So where do the Democrats' priorities lie? With their self-preservation, or to keep their constituents happy, or just to throw a wrench in the ringer?
Well, I don't know everything that they've tacked on as the quote standard pork, as Freeze says, but the their talking points are quote union protections. Now, I don't know what that is, what they've got in that bill supposedly that gives money or gives something to unions, but that's part of what it is, and that's an argument because the Democrats are trying to win in 2020. They're trying to win Pennsylvania. They're trying to win Ohio. They're trying to win Michigan. They barely won, like, is it Wisconsin or something? Those are big union states. And it's like they want to make – this is helping them. If they can make the argument and get the narrative to catch that Trump is hurting the unions, this is a short ball play for a long ball win here. It's what they're trying to do. Now, will they get away with it? I don't know. I'm on a podcast right now.
Well, Marky, I agree with you. Yeah. Trump will not put up with it because he will call them out.
Trump is a monkey fucker. Trump goes fucking crazy. Have you seen some of his press conferences? Oh, my God.
I'm on the job.
Yeah. There you go. I was just checking there, buddy. Just because we're all sick doesn't mean your ass is all right.
Even in quarantine, I'm still working.
Yeah. Hey, you play your cards right, you may end up in that press room at the White House.
Yeah.
Hey, just as a funny aside, has anybody? I thought this was an example. This was so funny. You know how like they say, don't feed the bears. And you know how they say, give them, give a man a fish, feed him for a day. Give a man a fish every day. He's never going to work. He's going to become dependent on you. So, did you see the video out of Thailand? Because all these tourists show up at one of these places in Thailand. And one of the things in this city they do is there's all these monkeys, and they feed the monkeys. People show up every day and feed whatever it is they feed to these monkeys and take pictures. And there's hundreds, if not thousands, of these monkeys. Well, apparently, because there's no tourists, there's no food. So there's video of rampaging groups of monkeys tearing ass through this town, like thousands of them. They're fighting with each other. They're fighting with people. These monkeys are going crazy because there's no food.
Wow.
And it's kind of sad and scary. And then we'll have monkey virus 20 come out of Thailand when somebody gets bit.
Yeah.
And because of the fucking monkey thing. And I've got video of it. I'll put it up on the website.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, the monkeys must have watched CNN or something.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So has anybody been working on any gun projects while we've been sick, Danny?
Well, go ahead, Freeze. You go.
No, I haven't been working on shit.
He's been sick and then been working, so you're the only one, Danny.
I've cleaned my guns 5 times.
Really?
And then cleaned them again. I've oiled them just to clean them. So boredom is setting in, if that makes any sense.
Wow. Okay.
His gun started off with a deep blue finish. And
now they're stainless.
Oh man.
Hey, did you know Sweet 762 will strip the finish off a gun?
Wow. Look, I have several projects I need to work on, but between work and being sick, it's just not been happening,
Well, speaking about being sick, have you seen what's been coming out on the news channels lately? The Pentagon is making more and more daily announcements now. And be it how much the military is going to take place in. Actually, and I seen it yesterday, who the 4-star general is that will run the country just in case the leaders go down.
I have not heard that.
Yes, it's out there. It's out there.
I'll have to research that because, well, the Pentagon does daily briefings. Like, if you're a defense correspondent, that's a beat. And there's always a Pentagon spokesperson, like example, Pete Mitchell, who is I think he's with NBC News now. He used to be the Pentagon spokesperson at one point a long time ago. So I noticed that a lot of the mainstream news channels have been picking up the Pentagon briefings, but I haven't really followed them that much. I mean, there's who's their designated. So this 4-star general, he's the. I understand he's in the National Command Authority for the military, but he's not in the plan of succession for the Constitution.
I understand that, but what I can't figure out is what is that law? Not martial law, but what is it when they could designate the military to run the country? I can't think of that other name for it besides martial law. There's something. Is it amendment, or is it something 32? Or I'm losing my mind here. Article 32 of the Constitution, maybe. I'm losing my mind on this.
No, I mean, under times of national emergency, the executive. Well, okay, so you've got lines of succession within the executive branch. So, president, vice president, And then, like under the War Powers.
Maybe that's
the War
what
Powers
it is.
Act? Okay, so like the War Powers Act, you have, under, I could have this slightly wrong, but so for example, constitutionally it's the president, vice president, then it goes the Speaker of the House, and then after that, I believe it goes to
Secretary of Interior or something.
The old. No. Once it goes, that's the line of succession, I think, in the War Powers Act. But the line of succession constitutionally to become president, if the president is killed, it's president, vice president, Speaker of the House, and then after that, I believe it is the oldest. I don't know if it's the oldest tenured person in the Senate, or is it the oldest living person in the Senate? I think it might be the oldest tenured person in the Senate. I could have that wrong. But then the War Powers Act is, if I have this right, it's because they've got you've got like, for example, the president. You get the president out of the White House. You run him or her. The Air Force One goes up. The Secretary of Defense, he's in the chain of command, National Command Authority for the release of authorized for possible use of nuclear weapons. He is what should be ideally, he or his successor should be in the an E4B. I believe is called a looking. I think that's the. Is that the Looking Glass? Or that might be. It's basically another 747 that doesn't look as pretty as Air Force One, but they have the ability to run the war. And then and they based out of they fly in and out of Offutt, I think, in the upper Midwest, like Offutt, wherever that's up in Nebraska. And then the Navy runs. Maybe the Navy's is the Looking Glass, but the Navy runs an aircraft that also initially was set up so it could talk to the nuclear equipped submarines underwater because it has special antenna. But then over time, that aircraft has also been upgraded so it can communicate with Air Force stationed missile silos and nuclear weapons commanders around the world itself. So there's through that chain of command is kind of where some of that goes under I think the War Powers Act. But the line of succession constitutionally is president, vice president,
Speaker of the
House,
yeah.
and then who's the Senate one? I don't think it's the majority leader. I think it's some senior person in the White House. Either the person who's been in there the longest or the person who's the oldest. And it's something kind of odd like that. It's, it's so, but
yeah.
Is that what you're talking about, Danny?
Terrence O'Shaughnessy, an Air Force general. That's.
And what's his billet? What is his, because there's only so many 4-star generals. There's not that many of them. What is he in command of?
Okay, he is in command of, I'm looking at this right now real quick. He testified in front of the Senate Arms Committee the other day, and he's in charge of a 5,000 troop force.
He's the hold on. He's NORAD. Okay. He's basically NORAD. I'm looking at him. He's basically what we used to call NORAD. But now it's a North American Aerospace Defense Command.
Yeah.
So he's the NORAD
I just looked up the order of secession.
Constitutionally or War
Constitutionally.
Powers? Okay.
And it's Vice President, Speaker of the House, President Pro Tem of the Senate, Secretary of State, Secretary of the Treasury, Secretary of Defense, Attorney General, Secretary of the Interior, Secretary of Agriculture, Secretary of Commerce, Secretary of Labor, Secretary of Health and Human Services, then Secretary of House and Urban Development. That's the top 13.
Those are all coming. Those are done, I believe, in order that they were established as cabinet offices. But check this out. And if I recall, I have really going back into some of the old constitutional stuff. There is a debate. So read off Speaker of the House, President Pro Tem, Secretary of State, and Secretary of Defense. What order is it?
It's Speaker of the House, President Pro Tempore of the Senate, Secretary of State, Secretary of Treasury.
Yes, Secretary of Defense. Oh, no, hold on. Where's Secretary of Defense?
Secretary of Defense is 6th, after the State and the Treasury.
Okay, so, well, here's the thing. Under the War Powers Act, Secretary of Defense is higher than Secretary of State for, like, managing the conflict. Like, you know, so, like, here's an example. So, like, the Secretary of Defense can run the war, where the Secretary of Treasury is not.
Yeah.
Going to run the war.
No,
make any sense?
It makes sense.
Now, maybe the Secretary of Defense has to confer now with the with the President-select, Secretary of Treasury, whatever. But there's kind of a weird area there between, because Secretary of State, the Secretary of State is like the senior cabinet position in government, but under the War Powers Act, Secretary of Defense is like, fuck you, bitch. I mean, the Secretary of Defense is like, we're busy right now. We don't have time for you. So, I mean, it's like, not to be ugly about it, but it's like, yeah, whatever. If a Secretary of Defense will look at the Secretary of State and be like, well, if you can get Air Force One to find your ass and pick you up, we might listen to you. But right now, we too busy flying in our own airplane, fighting this bitch. And so, call us from Air Force One if you can find it.
What was that Peter Sellers movie where they were all in the Cold War bunker? And that general's name that did that? I can't think of it.
Oh, my God.
You know what I'm thinking of?
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was, dude, I know what movie you're talking about.
And they had to shoot the general out, remember, because he was going to take over.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, when they had to attack the base. Yeah, I've seen that movie. What the hell was that?
Oh, I can't. I'm at a brain freeze.
Oh, my God. What the hell was...
Is Peter Sellers the...
No, he was the president.
Sellers the general? Hold on.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, no, I do. Oh my God! Jesus, Peter Sellers.
Is it Dr. Strangelove?
No, I don't.
Where Peter Sellers also plays the German counselor that stands up and does a Zeke Heil at the end before the world blows up. Remember? He gets out of his wheelchair.
That's Dr.
Strange. You know what? I think it is.
I think it is, Mark.
I think it is Dr. Strange.
Is that the same movie? When they had to go and attack the base? Because there was like a rogue American general, and like the Air Force commandos were trying to break in because he had locked himself in and had like launched. He had launched the bombers or done because weren't the bombers like some kind of test the Russians had done had made the bombers go. Had set some electronic interference. The bombers.
One bomber got through, and it was Slim Pickens that rode the bomb down.
Slim Pickens rode the bomb down at the end. Yeah, that's Dr. Strangelove.
So we can definitely just figure out what movie Danny was watching.
We solved something.
Yeah. So what movie did you? I'm gonna tell people what I watched. What did you watch on TV during your COVID-19 bunker time freeze?
I actually I watched a movie on Netflix with Mark Wahlberg called Jeez, I don't even remember the name of it. But Mark Wahlberg plays a Boston cop who went to prison, and then he gets out of prison, and then they bust a bunch of corrupt cops. It's trending on Netflix right now. That's what I watched.
Okay, you and I watched during when I was like in bed and totally destroyed. I watched reruns of Johnny.
Oh my
Carson.
God! Why?
I like Johnny Carson. I've always liked Johnny Carson.
Johnny,
you guys got me beat. I was focused in on the Cartoon Network watching Looney Tunes.
Well, see, I don't have like cable. It's like so. I had watched it on the internet, and I watched Johnny Carson on YouTube. And there's a channel on YouTube called Johnny Carson, and it's all these old episodes, and like they're going back to but most of the ones I remember from the 70s, 80s, and then the 90s. But dude, back then, like Johnny Carson was the show to watch.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Johnny Carson was the shit at the time.
Orson Welles.
Oh yeah.
I saw one. There was an episode with Orson Welles on it, and he was when he was Orca Fat. And do you remember who's the actor that killed his wife? Shark. No, what's not?
Oh, you mean Robert Conrad?
That's Burt Reynolds. No, not Robert Conrad.
Robert Blake killed his wife, but so did Robert Conrad. He killed Natalie Woods.
No, hold on. But no, that was like a boat, right? No,
okay, he's the one whose wife supposedly fell down the stairs and the shotgun went into her mouth and discharged. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, okay, gotcha.
It was an accident.
What did she know? What did she know about it?
Exactly.
So anyway, Orson Welles is sitting there, and he'd already had his time, and Robert Blake is there. You really don't realize remember back then how Robert Blake, he looked so different. And he's I guess he's a famous actor back then. Really my style. And so he's looking over at Orson Welles, and he makes a crack at Orson Welles about basically how fat he is. And Orson Welles has a big cigar in his mouth. He goes, young man, he said, I'm fat, but at my age, it says I'm fat, and at my age, I can lose weight, but you're always going to be ugly, or something like that. And it was just like, oh my God,
man, that's a direct quote from Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill, when he had a reputation of being a drunkard, and one of the women, this is supposed rumor, I don't know if it's true or not, but it's just like Mr. Church. Some woman comes up to him and is like, Mr. Churchill, you're drunk. And he's like, I may be drunk, but I'll be sober in the morning. You'll still be ugly.
Yeah, that gets back to Marky's original thing with his two sisters. You see?
Yeah. Man, I tell you what, I'm going to put these sisters, I mean, it's so striking. These two girls next to each other. It's like, oh my God, talk about ruining Christmas at that house.
Wow.
It's maybe the ugly one is just terrible. So,
well, I mean, look. At the end of the day, someone's got to be the ugly cunt.
Ooh, that top.
Wow, yeah, I just kind of fucking went there, didn't I?
Hey! Good segue. Speaking of ugly cunts, did anybody see Madonna's video about?
Oh my God, no, I have not.
And I was going to have lunch. Thanks, Marky.
Literally, no. It gets better. She's naked in a bathtub. And here's the thing. So those of us, everyone who's on this podcast, we're older. We are men of a certain age. And we remember Madonna when she was 19. This video, when this girl starts talking, And if you didn't know it was Madonna, you look at her and you'd be like, who the fuck is this person? And then you'd be like, that's Madonna. And you're going to be like, how much plastic surgery has she had? And then I want you to think of the theme song she should have played, which is
oh my God,
Japanese,
really? I'm turning Japanese?
In 1980. That's what I was thinking. She didn't play that music, but I was like, she looks like a Japanese woman. She has no makeup on, and it's this totally self-affected. She's got this stuff and the candles and a camera, like just randomly, let's videotape me in a bathtub. Like it's just like spur of the moment. And these people are so self-absorbed that she thinks any of us give a flying monkey, Thailand monkey fuck what she has to say. And she's being this so dramatic. And she's like, it's going to come for all of us. It doesn't care about your social class or your gender or your income or whatever kind of bullshit point she's making. And you're looking at her and all you can think of is, you look like a Japanese woman. Aren't you from Detroit? And it's bizarre.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to look the video up later.
Marky, are you trying to say that she lost her? You'd like to bite her in the ass and pray for lockjaw appeal?
God, no. I mean, Madonna. Look, when Madonna showed up at a public, because I've hammered her before. She showed up at a public event in Washington, got in front of a microphone on national television in front of thousands of people and said, I have to admit, now I'm quoting Madonna, so don't come after me. I'm quoting Madonna. She said, sometimes I have to admit that I think about bombing the White House.
Yeah.
And it's just like, shut the fuck up, you stupid little girl. And
but here's the thing. She's not a stupid little girl, dude. She's our age. She really is. She's our age.
She's older.
I don't think she's older than me.
She's older than me.
I think she's between your age and my age. And there's what, like a 5-6 year spread between us?
How old am I?
I'm 54. I'll be 55 this year. So there's a 6-7 year spread, something like that. And I don't think she's older than me, but she may be around my age. But I mean, she's definitely old enough to know better. There's no doubt about that.
Well, you know what's funny is these ex-celebs or whatever you want to call them, they still try to remain relevant. They still want to keep that 15 minutes going. And I think maybe that's why they do it.
I do want to mention that when you and myself were talking about our age, Danny was pretty silent.
Well, because you guys know, so shut up. Someone has to be the senior level head around here. So shut up.
Are you saying that we brought Danny on?
Yeah, well, look, someone needs to fucking control us.
Yeah, well, in Romper Room, somebody's got to hold the magic mirror, so come on.
Wow. Did you just mention Romper Room?
Yes, I did.
Holy shit. Dude, I guarantee you 90% of the people listening to this have no clue who Romper Room
I just outed myself.
Dude, I guess I kind of outed myself as well because I remember Romper Room.
And the magic mirror, the good doobies and the bad doobies.
Oh my God.
Fucking Christ! I don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, but I think a lot of the audience might.
What is this? The Joe? Is this the Joe Rogan podcast? What the fuck?
No, dude, seriously, right, dude, find a link for Romper Room and put it in the description.
I've written it down.
Dude,
I will put
oh my God, I haven't thought of that in years.
Well, I thought of it every day at work for 32 years.
Wow.
So I'll tell you what, the world is shut down. The economy has collapsed. No one knows what's going to happen day to day. But we all know two things. We all know three things. Number one, we are Americans, and we will be stronger when we get through it. Two, all this too shall pass disease-wise. And three, the police blotter will always entertain, and criminals can't help themselves. So here is the police blotter to wrap up this episode. South Carolina man lies about COVID-19 diagnosis to get off of work. He got arrested because he did this last week before everybody in the world, basically had this. And so he's like, "Hey man, I've got the commie cough." And so Jeffrey Travis Long, 31, was arrested Thursday in Spartanburg County in charge of breaching the peace and forgery. He apparently faked the doctor's note saying he had COVID-19 and could not return for 2 weeks after testing. And so what ended up happening was not only did he okay, you can stay home, but they called in the health board. And the health board had to sweep the whole freaking building. And they started testing other people. And then, of course, epidemiologically, they showed up at Jeffrey Travis Long's house and said, "Hey, we're here to follow up on this COVID diagnosis." And he's probably in a Tommy Bahama shirt going, "What?
2 weeks? 2 weeks of pay? That's better than jury duty."
Hey, no shit. Well, you see, here's the thing. He jumped the gun on this because he didn't realize it was going to be as serious as people are taking it. And he thought, I can get 2 weeks worth of pay, not have to work. That's cool. But the truth is, look,
now everybody's getting 2 weeks. I mean, it's hilarious. If you think about it, if he had just kept his powder dry for another week, he would have literally been like, "Yeah, dude, you can fucking stay home
exactly." He jumped the gun. He did.
He jumped the gun. So we're going to have to wrap up episode 167 of the John 1911 podcast. If you want to see pictures, stories, or links of anything we've discussed, apparently Romper Room and the Good Booby, please go to our website, John1911.com. That's JOHN1911.com. Remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun. Everybody, have a good day. But I want to tell you guys, say goodbye one at a time.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Fucking Romper Room.